We wanted to be more specific about what we meant when we were talking about chunking the text in the first video. So on this unit planner, we identified the standards, we have identified stems that you can use in academic vocabulary, but what are the kids actually doing with that? And that's where this first draft read comes into play. And we wanted to just be a little bit more specific about what our intention was for this specific strategy. So when we're asking students to highlight and annotate, it's really important that we always go back to the text-dependent question or the prompt that students need to answer. So what are they analyzing for? And that strategy stems from the data tree. It stems from testing strategies where we just go back and we look at what is the question asking me, so that as I'm reading and going through and annotating, highlighting, I'm super hyper focused on that and making sure that the evidence I'm pulling and the annotations I'm making have to do with the text dependent question that I'm answering. So as the students are highlighting, they might be highlighting for argumentative appeals, ethos, pathos, logos. They might be highlighting for intended audience. They might be highlighting for controlling idea or any text evidence that kind of loops me into what that controlling idea is going to be. So that's what I'm highlighting, and that goes back to my text-dependent question, whatever that is. And then my annotation strategy is always going to focus on that text-dependent question. So if I'm talking about organizational structures, by paragraph, I need to make annotations that loop back to that specific question about organizational structures. Or if I'm talking about intended audience or the audience that the author is speaking to, if that's what my text dependent question is focusing on, then that's what my annotations are going to be focused on as well. And just like from the first video, we have here a visual representation of a specific text that's linked on the performance task document, and we've just chunked it by paragraph. And sometimes this helps students because it doesn't look like a whole long text that I'm annotating for, but rather I'm focusing on just this one specific paragraph. This is a strategy to chunk the text. If Kami is working for you and that's easier to link on Canvas and your students are able to annotate and highlight using Kami, please by all means use that. It's not necessarily how they're doing it, but we wanted to be super specific and super explicit about what we're having students highlight for and what their annotations are, because it always needs to go back to that text-dependent question so that after students are done reading, they have a bunch of evidence and a bunch of highlighted evidence in their text and annotations that really will help them answer that text-dependent question.